Hello Virgo, how are you? Welcome to your video for today. I hope you are having a wonderful January. And let's get into your road to abundance. These are my money readings. These are your financial, money, business, all that fun stuff readings. I cover in entrepreneurs, and then we do a reading for the employed. And let's get into what the cards have to say for you all. And the cards don't really want to mix very well, so maybe you're having a little bit of a difficult time with things, but we'll see. This is how we get from the annoyance and the difficult times to the abundance. We're focused on moving forward to abundance and the road that we take to get there. So let's see what that looks like for our Virgos. We're going to do entrepreneurs first. Oh, you got the Magician. Yes, you're feeling very empowered. You're feeling very clear about what it is that you want to do. Ooh. And even though you may be feeling that way, perhaps you got that clarity about what's the next steps and where it is you want to be. And so you're taking some time to go within and plan. I think that's beautiful before you go out and you start sharing that passion with others. I love that. Oh, yes, because you putting in the work. Virgo, of course, I couldn't expect anything less from Virgos to put in the work. It is quite a bit, but you are on the path to abundance, to success. I don't know if there's necessarily, that's interesting. To get a Knight of Cups, which is like, all right, let me go in, let me make this offer. I'm really feeling good about this. Rushing in a bit, perhaps not having planned out everything as much as you should have, to get a Knight of Wands in reverse, which is now a little bit of that slow down, a little bit of that calming, a little bit of that maybe apprehension about where things are going. Tell us more about what's coming up next for that road of abundance for the Virgo entrepreneurs. Yeah, I think you gotta buckle down. I think you may jump the gun a little bit. Once you get those initial insights and once you get that initial like, oh yes, this is what I want to do, I think you jump the gun just a little bit, and then you recognize how much work it is and you slow down to go back and perfect, to go back and become the expert in your craft, to really just focus in on what that's looking like for you, to get a little bit more centered and balanced. We go from the Magician to the High Priestess. You go within, try to get more in touch with actually what your expectations are and what your capacity is, to ground yourself and to make sure that like your finances are actually together instead of just that your feelings are there. And then I think you try to celebrate a little bit. You try to lighten things up. What's the outcome for our entrepreneurs? You may also though be getting some help from a High Priestess or from someone who is a Queen of Pentacles with such good energy for your outcome. Okay, so your outcome cards, I'm going to go ahead and put them up here so you can see them. Your outcome cards are the Emperor and the 10 of Pentacles. So that's an excellent outcome for you. It's really saying that like you're progressing well through this process and not, jumping steps or anything like that. You're going from an understanding of what your desires are and focusing your will to be able to go after that. That means that you're just understanding yourself and you go deeper into that, deeper behind the curtain. This is like much more external, the Magician. This is much more internal with the High Priestess. And so externally, there may be things that you want, a title you want, sales that you want, features that you want to be. Maybe you want to be, on this podcast or have a podcast or something like that. You get an understanding of externally what that looks like. And as you kind of take some time to plan, you rush into it a little bit, you realize it's going to take a lot more work and energy. So you slow down so that you can like dig in and actually learn like the rules, learn what the expectations are, like buy your equipment, do whatever it is you have to do to actually understand this. And this slowing down puts you into that place to say that like, okay, externally I know, but internally I'm recognizing that fastness, that not thinking things through, that not being grounded is not really what I'm interested in. And I do want this to be something that's fun and not so much of a burden because I didn't plan well. So you plan. The Emperor, you put in some structure, some procedures. You may hire folks. You may, what is that called? You may source some things. You may it's when you hire folks to do stuff for you, like externally, like source out those materials or that work that needs to be done, that is definitely the way to go. It's not to try to carry everything on your own and to do everything yourself, but to figure out where you need to delegate and you need to create systems to support success, especially long term. If this is a long term desire of you, a legacy that you want to build, it needs to be something that you have assistance in supporting and that's not just depending only on yourself. Even if you are going to be perhaps the sole owner or you're working with another individual to make this thing happen, you definitely want to make sure it's not something that where, like, if you're not able to work for a day, if you're not able to work for a week, for a month, for years, that the whole thing just crumbles and is non-existent. Now you're building up the structure and the infrastructure to support your dreams. Okay, so that's what this month is kind of geared towards, especially like even if you are far along in the game and you're like, no, I've got everything together. Go back and review. Go back and review. Go back and take a look at this and make sure that there isn't a space that you need to tighten up on, especially for that long-term, long haul. All right. Okay, let's look for our employees that work with and for others. What's going on with y'all? What's your road to abundance? Ooh, there's some conflict going on, my dears, my loves. What's happening? Why? Why is there conflict? Okay, some tension, some conflict, some 5 of Wands. Virgo, there is either a King of Cups or you are serving as the King of Cups, but someone is very much like in their feelings, but they're trying to keep things together. They're trying to make sure that everyone's feeling emotionally supported and taken care of. And perhaps there was so maybe this is a boss or a supervisor or something like that, but it would be someone who's probably pretty easy to work with and pretty well going, or this is you who's like, I got to keep everybody okay. There may have been some restructuring. There may have been a desire to kind of like, let's run into Q1, like let's go head on, let's, new year, let's meet these goals and things like that. And this desire for this new beginning is just not happening. There may be a lot of folks who are leaving in this industry or seeking new things. Perhaps you're trying to bring in some new folks. Maybe you're hiring. Maybe you are hiring and your job is hiring, trying to bring in like new fire, new energy to kind of help with the stagnation that's happening here, the stuckness that's happening. We're definitely leaning into a lot of this fire energy. You've got the 5 of Wands, you got the Page of Wands, you got the Strength card, which is Leo's card. Not taking a leap of faith. It's interesting. There's a desire for something new. There's a desire to like expand and be better and to strengthen perhaps the business or strengthen the company and things like that. Like all of this stuff is there. And you might have perhaps a Leo person who's kind of trying to step in there. But there's every time it's like, okay, let's actually change. Let's actually do something different. Let's be brave and take this leap of faith, or let's start something new. That doesn't really happen. So it's like the desire is there, but the actual action behind it that's needed is not happening. It seems like now we have a King of Swords coming in. So someone may be buckling down. They may be saying that like, okay, no more of this nonsense and this foolishness. Like we need to make this happen. This may be, King of Cups always gives me like kind of therapy, working with people, working with children, working with families, really customer service oriented. Could be something that like is HR, something like that. King of Swords always gives me much more thoughts like education related. So working in a school, working in the school systems, HR as far as like trainings and things like that. Maybe that's what you all are looking for, or you're needing. But the Hierophant is also reinforcing the narrative around being a teacher or a mediator or a guide. And that's Taurus energy. There just needs to be a little bit more nurturing. I don't think you all are there yet. And I don't know if a King of Swords energy is the best way to get you all there unless it's changing your mindset around things, but I don't necessarily see that happening. I think it's definitely training. Training is needed. Training is needing and someone to come in and really support these efforts and really support this cause. That's going to be the way to kind of get this energy forward and moving. I know that maybe there is that desire to have a very like lovey-dovey, like woo, yay, like we're a family vibe, but I don't think that's gonna work well. It's obviously people are not receptive to it, and I don't know if like the colder stance is, but I think finding someone who really understands the dynamic of where it is you all want to go, and where you see yourself heading, about how to actually move forward. So if there's been some issues going on as you all try to like expand and grow and start anew for this new year, for Q1, you need to get some training. You need to get some experts in. You need to get some folks who are going to be willing to be a little bit more objective and not as caught up in the politics of whether this is you work in an office or whether you work in a small store or anything like that. Like there's always going to be human dynamics, group dynamics that are going on. And you need maybe more of a partial person to come in and assess what's happening and offer some advice and some insights to get y'all out of this hurdle. What's the outcome? Especially if there's a lot of conflict going on and people that do not get along. Third party is needed. Okay. We get the Page of Pentacles, a new start, a new investment, and we get the Devil in reverse. So yeah, there's definitely kind of like it's a push for investment without the making the necessary changes to fix the structural and habitual issues that are occurring. So really truly like y'all just have to be real. There's no other way to explain it other than like y'all have to be real. Y'all can't live in this fantasy world in this la la land of like we can just go in and like put band-aids over these cuts, these very deep cuts. Like that's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It may feel new. It may feel like yes, okay, great. Like maybe you have someone come in who offers you all some training or something like that, and y'all are like, wonderful, we've started anew, but it hasn't changed the structure. It hasn't changed the actual chains, the attachments that will pull you all right back into your same habits. So for real change, you've got to address the core. You've got to address like the actual issues, the policies, the procedures, everything like that that supports this unhealthy environment. That's the only way to get this to change. So if you're the person who can influence or impact these things, you've got to go in there with that attitude. And I know it's not always welcome. It's already a tense situation anyway. But to move forward and get that going, that's the attitude you're going to have to take. And if you're not, and you're a person who unfortunately is just having to deal with these issues, you know, you have to have that understanding for yourself at least to know that like that's what's necessary. And if that's not happening, perhaps you need to be a Page of Wands and maybe looking at other opportunities, and perhaps some that may be in the educational realm. Okay. All right. I love y'all. That's going to be our Road to Abundance readings for Virgos. If you are looking for some assistance in figuring out how to move forward, or you're looking for some clarity in what may be coming next and would like a private reading, my information is down below and you can book a reading with me, or you can book a session to figure out how to get past some of these hurdles or some of these things that may be blocking your road to abundance. All right, that's going to be it for you, Virgos. I love you. I'll see y'all later. Bye.